Buying a refurbished game console can be a gamble because you never really know what you're gonna get. I bought two refurbished Xbox Series X consoles. One I bought directly from the manufacturer Microsoft, the other one I bought from GameStop, and today we're gonna compare them and see which one's better. This video is sponsored by Noom, more on them in a minute. On the right we have the Microsoft Xbox Series X. I bought this for $514.98. And on the left I have a refurbished Xbox Series X from GameStop that I paid $459 for. We'll start with the GameStop console. The first thing is that this white controller normally didn't come with the Xbox Series X. The black controller is the one that came with the Xbox Series X. The white one is for the Xbox Series S. Now, these controllers are exactly the same other than the color, so it's really not that big of a deal. But if I was buying an Xbox Series X bundle, I would expect that it would be the black. Another thing I noticed right away is that the one from Microsoft comes in pretty much exact retail packaging. The only difference is that it says refurbished down here on the box. That's the only difference I noticed. Other than that, it's pretty much a retail unboxing experience, whereas the GameStop Xbox Series X comes in a box that was made by GameStop, so it's not the retail version, which isn't a huge deal, but it definitely does feel better when I'm opening retail packaging when I buy a refurbished Xbox. On the right is the Microsoft refurbished controller, and just taking a look at this one, there's a little bit of a mark down here. Looks like it does scratch off, so maybe just a tiny bit of adhesive or something. This controller has not been taken apart. The warranty screw is right under this sticker. The sticker's not been peeled off, and there's no hole where the screw is. So I would say the Microsoft controller is in pretty much brand new condition. Other than this one little mark right here, I don't see anything that would indicate that it is not brand new. And taking a look at the GameStop controller, we do have a little mark right here. It's a little bit dirty on the shell, not too bad, but there definitely is some dirt on the shell. And this one maybe was taken apart. This corner's a little bit peeled up, so it is possible that they took this one apart. If they did a really good job of putting the sticker back. And again, we got a little bit of dirt marks right on the bumpers here. So overall, the GameStop controller really isn't in too bad a condition. The Microsoft controller is definitely better, but the GameStop one, in my opinion, is acceptable. And taking a look at the consoles themselves, the GameStop Xbox Series X does have some marks on the front. It's hard to tell on the camera, but it has been lightly sanded on the front as well. There's some scuffs and scratches on the bottom. And this one has definitely been taken apart, and the HDMI port has been worked on. And the top of the console looks pretty good. Let's take a look at the Microsoft Xbox. Taking a look at the front of the Microsoft Xbox. This all looks really good. I don't see any scratches or any signs of use. Same with the very top, and same with the back. The warranty sticker has definitely not been pierced. It has not been pulled up. I don't see anything that would indicate any of these ports have been replaced. There's a tiny mark right here, so it is possible that maybe this screw was removed and then that mark is from a technician prying up the back cover. One of the advantages of a manufacturer doing the refurbishing is they can just put new stickers on this, whereas a third party such as GameStop or some other third party, they don't have access to new stickers. So that's just gonna be an advantage of getting a refurbished product through the actual manufacturer of the product. So far, I'm definitely liking the refurbished Xbox Series X from Microsoft better, but now it's the best part. Let's open them up and see what was done to the insides. As a dad and a husband, one of the things I'm always trying to do is to be my best self so I can be around as long as possible for those I love. So managing my weight in a healthy way is extremely important to me. That's where Noom comes in. Noom helps you learn how your mind works and the why behind the decisions you make. Learning, not dieting, is what leads to real lasting change. As someone who sits a lot, whether I'm doing repairs or editing videos, I've found that it's very easy for my weight to start to creep up without me really even noticing. I've found that I can lose a lot of that weight just myself, but that last little bit is really hard for me to lose. Noom uses science to help keep you on track to meet your goals. One of the lessons in Noom that has helped me the most is the lesson on how to eat less dense. This lesson helped reinforce in my mind the things that I can eat as much as I want of and the things that I should be a little bit more careful of. I love that Noom's program doesn't prevent me from eating the foods that I really like that I know aren't the best for me. They just help me understand how much of that food I should be eating. Using Noom's program, I've been able to lose around 4 pounds just in the last month, and I'm still eating all the foods that I really like. I love using Noom to track my food and my exercise. That way I know about how much I can eat during the day and still not lose track of my progress. If you're like me and you just can't quite get to your weight loss goal, I recommend giving Noom a try. Click on the link in the description or go to noom.com/TronicsFix to start your free evaluation. That's noom.com/TronicsFix. So this is very interesting. The Microsoft console, it has these little blue tabs right here. These tabs are the backside of adhesive. So this ribbon cable, this shiny part right here is adhesive, and that would stick down to the heatsink right here. And then it would also stick down to this aluminum piece right here. As you can see, those blue tabs are still in place, so the adhesive backing is still in place. That leads me to believe that this ribbon cable right here was replaced at some point, and maybe that was done during whatever refurbishment process they did. It does look like there are marks on the screws for the Microsoft console, so that means that I think someone probably was in here. Now on the GameStop one, there was definitely someone in here. There are tool marks on the screws. There's a little bit of flux on the board down here, which indicates some soldering was done on the board. Probably because they replaced this HDMI port. But did they apply the perfect amount of thermal paste when they did that? Let's find out. Okay, now we've got our internal assembly removed. Let's have a look at the heatsink, make sure that's nice and clean. Oh yeah, that's pretty clean. Okay, let's remove this cover. That gets us in here, and I see no issues so far. Now we can remove the power supply, no issues there. And now we can remove the next layer. And now we can remove this top board. Nothing crazy going on here. After that, we can remove this middle aluminum piece and check out the HDMI port. Okay, everything looks good. We got the thermal paste right here. Some of it stuck to here, that's fine. So this right here is sort of an issue. It's really not too big of an issue. This is the thermal paste material, and you can see how it's kind of smashed out down here. Probably when they were taking it off, they might have smashed it with their finger or something. So the problem with that is then the part that it needs to be on is right here to insulate these or take heat away from these chips down here. So when it's smashed down here like that though, there's not very much contact or no contact right here. So the best thing to do is get this all scraped back up as much as you can up to the area where it's supposed to be. And then once you put that aluminum plate back on, then that'll ensure good contact up there. Okay, and now we can remove this shield. Now one thing I noticed when I was taking this clamp off is this little component right here. Right here, the top of it, the top corner has just been kind of broken off. Now that's not really a big deal. This is just a coil in there, but still, I mean, it's not the best thing, but it's not going to affect how it runs, or at least it shouldn't. And now with the clamp off, we can remove this board, see if it has the perfect amount of thermal paste. Okay, so, I mean, at least there is thermal paste there. Here's the problem though. And honestly, I don't know how much of a problem this is, but what they did is they just took a thermal paste and put it on over top of the old thermal paste. Instead of cleaning off the old thermal paste and then putting the new paste on, they just kind of put new thermal paste on here and then put this board back in and let it smash together. Let's take a look at that HDMI port and see how good of a job they did there. And here's the bottom side of the port. These are the mounting pins, and these are the mounting pins. And the bottom side actually looks pretty good. Let's take a look at that top side. And here we are with the top side. It actually doesn't look too bad. Each of these pins, at least so far, are soldered on nice and tight. They're lined up nicely. And to me, it looks like a pretty good quality job. So the HDMI repair on this refurbished Series X looks pretty good. Let's get that thermal paste taken care of though. This just makes me feel so much better getting this mix of thermal pastes off. And here we go. And that is the perfect amount of thermal paste if I've ever seen it. So overall, this Xbox Series X really wasn't too bad. I'm a little disappointed in the condition of the thermal paste, but other than that, they actually did a pretty good job, in my opinion, of replacing the HDMI port. So I give GameStop a B-. So now let's tear apart the Microsoft Xbox Series X. I'm very curious to see if we can figure out what they did to this one, since it does look like they've been inside of it, but I can't yet tell what they did. Now you may be wondering why the refurbished Xbox Series X directly from Microsoft was $514, which is more than the retail price of a brand new one. The actual price of the console itself is $469.99, but Microsoft requires that you buy a 3-month Game Pass. I think it's stupid that they require that, but at the same time, this is a console in very good condition, and you do get the 3-month Game Pass. And we now have the first board loose and off. I don't see any indication of anything being done to this board. All of the thermal paste looks brand new, and it's right in the place where it needs to be. Again, this just looks all brand new so far. I'm gonna get the clamp off, then we'll take a look at the underside of this board and see if any of the ports have been replaced. Now let's have a look at the other side of the board. Definitely not the perfect amount of thermal paste. We'll take care of that in a minute. The HDMI port looks brand new. I don't see any soldering that's been done on it, so I think the port is brand new. And that's also exactly how these USB ports and the Ethernet port, they just all look brand new. Ah, there we go. And with the perfect amount of thermal paste installed, we can truly call this a refurbished Xbox Series X. Now, I don't know what Microsoft did to this. Maybe they didn't even take it apart. It sure looks like they did, given that that ribbon cable still had the stickers on the back of the adhesive, but maybe that's just how it came from the factory. I definitely think that the refurbished Xbox Series X from Microsoft is in much better condition than the one from GameStop. I can confidently give Microsoft an A+. I've made a lot of videos reviewing refurbished game consoles from various different companies, so if you want to learn which ones are the best companies to buy from and which ones you might want to avoid, I'll put a playlist up on your screen now so you can go check that out and hopefully save yourself some money. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have a good one.